we've all done the hokey pokey here, right? You know what it's all about. Right foot in, right foot out, shake, turn, only to do it all again with the left foot. Then one arm, then the other. Is that fun for anyone? Debt is the financial version of the hokey pokey, but it doesn't seem to induce the same chronic giggling it does for our 3-year-old counterparts. We fall into it for one reason or another, and even if we can climb all the way out of it, we somehow find ourselves doing the same debt dance all over again with something new. The water heater went out, the dog needs surgery, or whoops, turns out we need that last tattoo lasered off, stat. And I can tell you why this happens time after time. You're paying off the debt, but you're not breaking the debt cycle. At YNAB, we talk a lot about being stuck in the paycheck to paycheck cycle. When we're in the paycheck to paycheck cycle, we earn money, but truly spend nearly every penny of it by the time we're paid again. You're living the last 3 days of the month with $17.42 to your name, totally on edge and crossing your fingers that no surprises come up to bite you before you're paid again. Risky business. But what happens when you hit zero and then some? Yep, you just crossed over into the red and still have 3 days till your next paycheck. So of course, the refrigerator dies. You have no cushion and no flexibility. Your one and only option is to borrow money. This is where the debt cycle begins. Money eventually rolls back in and you're feeling like you can breathe again. Whew, dodge that bullet. Kind of. This time your bank balance is finally positive for the next 3 weeks, but you don't quite make it to the next paycheck and you find yourself having to reach for the credit card again. No other options. Every coming paycheck makes you feel hopeful, but this time you feel like you're barely getting all the bills paid before you're back to swiping that credit card. So you transition to a life living on beans and rice, take on 12 new side hustles, work like a dog to put every penny towards your debt, and start to feel like you're never gonna have any fun ever again, ever. So naturally, this is when the car breaks down. Seriously, what gives? How in the world are you gonna pay for this? You spent the rest of your last paycheck to pay for last month's debt payment, so swipe again. You just got more debt and the cycle repeats. So we've got a situation here. Why isn't chiseling away at your debt every month working? Well, picture this. You're on a rowboat out on the lake and suddenly you notice your boat has sprung a pretty good sized leak. Your natural instinct might be to start scooping up that water and tossing it overboard, but what you really need is to plug that hole first. When no new water is coming in, that's when you can confidently toss the standing water out of the boat and know it's not coming back. Your debt is the same way. Paying off the debt is total futility until you can stop those new debts from rolling in. Well, I have good news. We have the antidote to debt. It's the ultimate debt prevention tool, and it's what's going to keep you out of debt once and for all. Lean in close now. Before sending all your money to your debt, we'll first set aside money for our non-monthly expenses. We call these our true expenses. Things like clothes and auto repair, annual subscriptions, and HOA fees. We know they'll come one day, sometimes right on schedule, other times out of the blue. But your best defense against accruing new future debt is to start putting a little money away each month for each of these true expenses now. Let's go back to our earlier example where you were spending every extra penny you had to pay down your debt. Let's say hypothetically that's $500 a month going toward your debt. Instead of sending all that money to your debt in one fell swoop, you take a step back. You decide to hang on to some money for Christmas, a little for car repairs, some for vet bills, and that car registration that you know is coming due on your birthday, no less. Altogether, you set aside that $200 for those inevitable down-the-road expenses and happily send the other $300 toward your debt payment. This is the start of you building your very own self-sustaining safety net called your true expenses. 3 months go by and you follow the exact same routine. $200 to your true expenses and $300 to your debt. Your car needs a new tire for inspection. You sigh when they tell you it'll cost $150, but Wait, you saved $240 for car repairs. What is this? 3 months ago, you would have had to swipe a credit card without a doubt, but now you're writing a check without a second thought. You know why? Because just like you plugged the leaky hole in the boat, you just stopped new debts from leaking in. You don't need that credit card. You've also sent $900 to your debt over the last 3 months. That is some serious progress and not a single step backwards. This is how you break the cycle of debt. And the very best part of it all, the day eventually arrives where your debt is gone, which means that $300 you've been paying towards your debt every month is all yours. Did you just get a raise? Nope, you just beat your debt. Now you can budget that money however you want. This is the magic of budgeting. It all comes down to one simple question that changes the whole game. What does this money need to do before more money arrives? We prioritize some of those dollars for what we need to pay for next, and some of those dollars are tucked away for what will happen later. And what happens to that money you tucked away for later? It sits and it waits and starts to build a big, proud barrier that even debt is gonna have a pretty hard time kicking through. So if you've been stuck slinging everything you have at the debt cycle, take one big step back. Pinpoint those things that are causing you to reach for the card and start saving for them little by little now. Decide that debt is no longer an option for you. Break the cycle and you'll finally get out of it once and for all.